I am very happy that I did this. It was a big shock. My biggest dream is to win the Champions League.
Can Xavier Pascual and Lukas Sindrich lead Veszprém yet again to Cologne?
It's quite possible that they will not make it to the Final Four.
Ball across the Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Ooh, into the net.
He does it again.
Yes, Van Dijvenberg are the champions of Europe. For something here. What a game! Surprise the keeper! What a comeback!
And then finally back after the summer break, it is time to talk handball again. A new season, but familiar faces. Not to say old faces, and talking about old faces, that brings me over to my fellow co-hosts. On my left-hand side, it is time to introduce Mr. Barcelona. Oh, captain, my captain. How's it going, Víctor Tomàs?
What's up, my guys? It's good to see you. It's good to see that nothing changes. Martin is as red as always, you know, and you as handsome as always, my man. So it's really nice to be here for a new exciting handball season, and very happy to have this second season of the Spin, the podcast.
Absolutely. And talking about old faces, but still looking fresh, we got to come over to our next podcast host, who I am super happy that he is with us for yet another season. Pitbull was inspired by him because he is Mr. Worldwide of beach handball. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Vilstrup.
I'm good, but first of all, I want to say that because I'm red, it must be all the sun that we're having here in Denmark. So I'm getting sunburned sometimes, and it's hard to keep up with. And all good. I'm happy to be back, and I'm looking forward to another season. I think the handball community and the handball world need a handball podcast, and I'm happy to be a part of it with you, Bengt, and then also a fellow Spanish guy from Barcelona.
I was just about to think that you were to say, well, the handball world needs me, but you just were around for the handball podcast. But that is good. How has the summer been treating you guys? Maybe let's start with the endless summer in Barcelona.
I'm a little bit shy to talk about my summer because it was quite long, and I traveled quite a lot. Let's say it was really nice one. I have young kids, 8 and 6 years old, both of them. A little long because of that, because I was 24/7 with my kids, and it was a long vacation, a long school vacation, 3 months to be precise. But we enjoyed. We traveled. We've been to Ibiza. We've been to United States. We were following the Olympics, it was a really, really nice summer.
That is actually quite cool. And 3 months, is that normal for Spain?
In Spain, yes, it's the vacation country, you know.
Jesus, I should have chosen a different country to grow up. But anyway, how about Denmark? How about
Still in time.
Your summer?
Well, I mean, having 3 months of vacation doesn't sound bad, but I cannot complain. It's filled up with beach handball, and once again, we lost the World Cup final against Croatia. So second at the World Cup. I was at the Olympics, and in general, I had a great summer, you know, but I could actually use some real vacation, you know, just going to... for example, Spain,
Ibiza,
to enjoy it.
United States.
Yeah, just like you, Bengt, you also been on a kind of a road trip the other day, where some of us got to enjoy it from the social media with all the entertainment that you put on your social media.
Yeah, that is true. Just we came back from my vacation in Portugal. That was quite cool there as well. Spain in good, if you ask me. No, just kidding here. But I enjoyed
Oh
it a
my
lot.
God.
And it was the.
Oh, why did I say yes to another season?
I don't know. Poor you. No, but it was actually great. I enjoyed my summer a lot. I visited all the matches of Germany at the Euro, so the football Euro, and that was quite memorable. Everything that happened this summer. But yeah,
How did that go? I don't remember.
yeah, quite all right. There was, I didn't know that Spain traded their handball players to football just to save them into the semifinals. But that's a different topic. I don't want to talk about it anymore. No, but
We can make a full
Some-
episode about it.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
some guy from Morocco who plays for Spain now got, scored a goal called Lamin, and I mean, Spain won it.
Well, okay, don't put any excuses. Just be a gentleman, congratulate the man, and just keep going with the podcast.
congratulations to the
Thank
Euro
you,
winner
thank you.
Spain.
Okay.
You guys played a great tournament. That's actually what one has to say. But it's not about football in this podcast. It's about the most beautiful sport in the world. We are talking handball yet again. And, well, there were some things happening throughout the summer. And one of the things that I think shook the handball world the most is with a former companion of Víctor Tomàs. So we have a new coach at Veszprém.
Yes, this was a big transfer, I think. Sometimes the transfer of the coaches go a little bit under the radar sometimes, but this one it was a big one. I think Veszprém is still working on getting this trophy that they really dream with it, and yeah, I think it's a very, very nice transfer and signing for Veszprém because I know Paski pretty well. I know how good he is as a coach. I know how much he knows about handball. And if Veszprém, which is a very special club to be working in, and Xavi Pascual can match, I think Veszprém has the best chances ever to win the Champions League in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
All right, it's interesting that you say the next 2, 3, or 4 years, and not necessarily this year. Xavi Pascual comes in with the 3 Champions League titles in his backpack, and he knows what it takes to actually win that trophy. How is he handling an ambition team like Veszprém is?
Well, the biggest ambition of all, it's his. More than the players, more than the club. So he's a winner and he really loves to win, and he is pushing in a good way or in the way that every player needs everybody towards winning. Yeah, he's been handling with high expectations and big pressure in Barcelona, which is a club that he knows very, very well. He was a player, a professional player, and then a coach for many years. And now he's going to be coaching another club that has big expectations and a lot of pressure. But if I say in the next 2, 3, 4 years, it's because he never grew up in Hungary. So he didn't grow up in Hungary. So he needs to know a little bit the specifics about being Veszprém coach, to know the club, to know the culture that they have there. So that's why I said that if they match, I think it's going to be a very, very powerful Veszprém in the next few years.
The next few years will most definitely be Veszprém years. I do expect that as well. Not necessarily this year. I don't see them winning the Champions League title this year. But Martin, what do you think? Can Xavier Pascual and Lukas Sindrich lead Veszprém yet again to Cologne?
Well, I think if we have to make an early prediction, I think they will be there in the Final Four. But the one thing you know about Veszprém is that you never know, because every season is the high expectations, and also last season and the seasons before, we all predict them to do very well, and then they end up in a difficult quarterfinal or whatsoever, and then they do what West Brom sometimes do. But if you look at the squad, they still have the quality. And as you also said, they brought in Lukas Sendrić. Pascual and Sendrić were together in Bucuresti, and now they're also in West Brom. And I mean, if you look at the team, the only thing that's different from last year is Yahya Omar, who went to Paris, and they still have an amazing squad and depth within. Yeah, if I have to say now, they will be at the Final Four.
But it's been a big change in this situation, because Yahya Omar was on the right back and Remili was on the center back, and Remili is not playing in the center back anymore. So I think that this movement that Paski did with Lukas Sendrić was smart, because in my opinion, a coach that has a quite big playbook, especially in attack, he needs a center back that it's, applying everything in the playing court. And this is what Paski did with Sendrić. He took a player that knows perfectly his system, and then it's going to take less time to make the team play the way the coach wants.
Yeah, and to also, I agree with you, Víctor, to say also that Sendrić is more like the typical playmaker that you think about than compared to Remili, who's kind of adapted his game to being a playmaker. And with Yahya Omar away, it's also, I think last season they had three so strong right backs with Sandel, Omar, and Remili, and they couldn't, all play right back at the same time. So they had to kind of come up with something that they could have Remili and Omar on the playing court at the same time. They don't have that problem as much as last year now with Sendrić coming in, who's the typical, and bringing in the speed. They will also give West Brom more speed, because Remili, he's not, as a playmaker, the one making the systems and playing super fast. He has a really good connection with Fabregas and can be dangerous himself, but Sendrić will bring this more speed into the game also, and he's the typical playmaker, as Víctor also says.
And one of those names that you actually just named brings us over to the next topic, to the next team. Yahya Omar isn't at West Brom anymore. He made a bold move and went over to France to kick off a new era in Paris, because it is the post-Nikola Karabatic era that is being started there. I'm super interested in how they are gonna face that, because just looking at the first results over the first 3 weeks, Paris didn't seem to be too convincing in their playing style.
I don't think they've been super convincing. And to me, also, when I look at Paris and think about Paris, if you look years back, I don't think the depth within the squad is super deep. I mean, the starting with Brandy, Steins, and Yahya Omar is unbelievable. Then you have Solé on the right wing, you have Krebil on the left, Sipsak on the line player, and Palika. I mean, those kind of players are top-class players, but whenever they have to substitute, they still have some quality players. With Jacob Holm, for example, they brought in Danny Bayens from the Netherlands, playing in Hamburg last season. But I think they will struggle a little bit this season. Also, you've seen the last couple of results also in the French league. They're tough opponents with Nantes and Montpellier. But I don't see Paris making it super far this season. But another thing that I also want to give a shout out to Spanish and in general also coaches, as Víctor said, is going under the radar a little bit. With in Paris they have the Spanish coach González, Pascual, Ortega. A little bit also a shout out to some of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest clubs in the world. They have Spanish coaches, and normally coaches are the one getting sacked whenever it's not working well, but they don't get that much of attention whenever it's news. But Paris, for me this year, I see them keep struggling, if I have to be honest.
All right, that almost doesn't sound like you are talking them into Cologne. Víctor, would you agree on that?
That's a hard one.
It would be a back-to-back EHF Final Four without Paris Saint-Germain in it.
It's too soon. It's true, as Martin said, that their playing so far, it's not been very convincing. The thing is that having a center back that is playing that much with the size of Luke Steinsch, he has to defend in number 1 or number 6, and this is making the team adapt all the time on having him in the court and not being able to defend in number 5 or number 2, and he's always playing. So then the left wing needs to defend in number 4, and then Prandi also has to stay. So it makes the all the engine of the team. It's difficult to put all together, because then if you change the left wing, that it's not able to defend in number 4, you also need to change the center back. So the kind of players they have, it makes the job of Raúl difficult, in my opinion. Yeah. And if I have to make a bet for the feeling that I have right now, I think that it's quite possible that they will not make it to the Final Four.
I don't have them going to Cologne either.
Okay. Having in mind with Luke Steins, luckily Paris, they have Krebil, who can be at, number 2 or number 5 in defense, but they also have Kamil Subsik, who they might also want to change with Luka Karabatis. And in general, it's just a lot of tactical things that Raúl needs to figure out how to play. And if I play like this, what do I do in offense and defense? And so it makes sense. And that's a hard balance between what do you want to prioritize, defense or offense. But interesting, Bengt, that you are predicting them to make it to the Final Four.
No, I don't have them. I don't have them going to Cologne either. So we will have our little ranking just in a bit, because I'm interested to see who you guys think will actually make it to Cologne. But one team that I am seeing going there, what might end up being a little bit of a hot take here, is Sporting, because Sporting seems to be so well balanced, and their offense works perfectly fine. Just that last matchup that they had, actually, where they scored 39 goals and ran over their opponents. You could really see those ambitions that I think it was Martin Costa who was in our show last year when we were in was it in Budapest or in Cologne? I think it was in Cologne when Martin Costa was around. And he said, well, it would be great to be playing here next year. And I see that this is possible. So I do see Sporting ending up in the Track Scout 24 EHF Final Four next year.
I don't see them in the Final Four. I think they will be a very, very tough team to beat in Portugal because they have an exciting playing style. It's very fast. It's very, modern, I would say. It's very young, Even, of course, the players are young, but the style they play, it's like very brave, But I think they will struggle outside of Portugal. And in the long term, I still don't see that, roster as deep as the biggest teams in Europe.
Martin, what do you think?
I think it's a nice prediction, Bengt, and obviously they surprised everyone with winning against Veszprém, and I also watched the game against Fredericia where they won with 18 goals, and it was like, it was, to be honest, embarrassing for Fredericia to be losing with 18 goals in their first home game in the EHF Champions League. And I mean, the Costa brothers, since the European Championship, and they've just been showing themselves very, very well, and they have Salvador, and they have Branquinho on the left wing. They have a lot of Portuguese national players, but I also think they will struggle later on in the tournament. In goalkeepers are a very important position. They have Andre Christensen from Norway and Mohamed Ali, and I don't think that's the quality to qualify for the EHF Final Four. But I mean, on the other hand, sometimes the dark horse needs to get there and will get there. But I mean, as they're playing now, it's unbelievable.
I am interested in hearing your 4 teams later on. Víctor, what do you want to say?
I think Sporting will be close to being the Final Four, but we are here to play, you know. So if I would have to say something, I would say they will be close, but they will not make it.
All right, super interesting. And then I stumbled upon a quote from our website. So our colleagues from the EHF, they had a quote saying, 18 matches have been played by Gonzalo Perez de Vargas so far at the EHF Final Four events, making the goalkeeper the record holder of those on court next season. The overall record is held by Aaron Palmerson with 19 matches. That being said, well, of course, Barca is going to Cologne, and of course, Perez de Vargas is going to play there. So our colleagues from the website are quite secure. And Víctor, I don't need to ask you whether you think that Barca is making it to Cologne, do I?
Yeah, I think they will make it to Cologne. I think they are gonna have problems now in the first part of the season, because my feeling with them now is that they are struggling with the physical condition and mentally as well. But I think Barca is always a team that we have to count them in.
Yeah. Martin, do you agree?
Yeah, to make it short, I totally agree. I just once again went through the squad of Barcelona. I was trying to think of, key players, and okay, Nielsen, De Vargas, de Camem, Luis Frade, Alexi Gomez. Then I kept scrolling, and I kept writing down the names, and it was like, I need to stop at some point because then it's Thiago Petros, Casboga, Van, everyone. I could write down everyone. So, I mean, the quality is it's on the paper, it's the best team in the world, but there's been some national team duties, and we spoke about it with Moreschi. Maybe there was some mental tiredness, maybe the body as well, and of course Barcelona will be at the EHF Final Four.
Yeah, I do think so too. I do think so as well. And then, there are obviously many more other teams that we are going to analyze throughout the entire season. But for today, we got to keep it a little shorter. And I want to hear 4 names of you. Who is making it to Cologne? Martin, you may start.
Barcelona, Magdeburg, Veszprém. And then I kind of thought, should I leave the last spot for a dark horse? And it's either Aalborg, Fischer Berlin, or Peak Szeged for me. And will I go with Aalborg then? Yeah, I go with Aalborg.
Yeah, fair enough. Then,
but I mean, at the moment they're struggling in the Danish league because of Landin is injured and Mølgaard. But I don't think Fischer Berlin have the depth in the squad. Szeged is my outsider this season.
I just hate to agree with Martin. It's the same 4 names I had in my head, in this big head that I have.
I thought you would say that I'm boring because I took the 4 teams, but at least you agree.
Yeah. My opinion is the same. It's Veszprém, Magdeburg, Barcelona, and Aalborg.
All right, then it's up to me to switch it up here a little bit because my next hot take is that no German team will make it to Cologne this year, and we will see Barca, Aalborg, Veszprém, and Sporting making it to Cologne, and that might switch it up for this season a little bit. I am super interested in seeing that young and motivated Sporting team, and why not go in for a miraculous run? So there always is someone that we didn't expect at the start of the season, and for me this year it could be Sporting.
It will be interesting to see how they advance through the competition. As I said, it's always lovely to see, new teams to come in the competition and to excite all of us playing the way they do, and of course making results like they did against Veszprém at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for the next predictions, well, of course, we need to have a look who's going to be MVP, who's going to be the top scorer, and who's going to win it. We're starting with the winner, and this year's Champions League winner will be Martin Vilstrup. It won't be Martin Vilstrup, but it will be.
That would be something, Some team needs to get a lot of injuries in order for that to happen. Oh, Barcelona.
The easy pick for Martin Vilstrup. Victor?
I think Aalborg.
And that is where we are agreeing. I am counting on Aalborg here as well, because I do think this is the year for Aalborg. They are finally making it. Just 1 year too late for our fellow Mikkel Hansen, but Aalborg will take it home. I do think so too. And
I hope you will speak more about that later, because I have some reasons why I don't think they will make it. But yeah,
interesting. That is some stuff for the next episode. A good cliffhanger here, Martin. And who's going to be MVP?
DKMM.
I will go with DKMM as well.
Yes.
MVP, not from the winning team.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think he's just the best player in the world right now. I know him personally. I know his mentality. I know how he takes the competition. So, yeah, for me, he is the obvious option.
All right. My obvious option for the MVP will be Niklas Landin. I do think that we will see a goalkeeper taking home the MVP trophy, and he will be able to stop some shots from my top scorer. That will be Martin Costa.
I'm interested in hearing your, Victor.
Magnusson.
I like it with Magnusson. I have the same problem with Fischer Berlin. If they don't make it to the EHF Final Four, I don't think Gisel will be the top scorer. But last year,
Well, I mean, there have been some top scorers who didn't make it to Cologne or to Budapest.
Last year, I tried him as MVP. This year, I will try him as top scorer, so I will go with Remeli.
All right, cool. Then we will see how that one will develop. Some interesting takes here. We will follow them, how they are going to develop throughout the season. Last year, my Kielce and Dushabayev takes, they didn't age too well.
If
but
you
well,
were clever this time, you just have said Costa.
Yeah, fair enough.
I told you guys.
You just gotta be clever. That is true. But then, yeah, interesting stuff here. And for us, it is time to have a look over to the women's side of this competition. And I mean, who else could we invite other than probably one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in the world right now? She is freshly baked, twice Olympian, and yeah, the Brazilian superstar, the goalkeeper, Gabriela Moreschi. It's the two of us, Martin and me, who actually had a little talk with her, and it was super interesting. And yeah, well, we are going to talk about her ambitions and what CSM Bucuresti is able of doing this season. And then we are very happy to introduce Brazil's number one, CSM's new number one, and the woman that became a little bit German, as she told us just before the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabi Moreschi, how's it going?
Hello. First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be speaking with you, and I really like your job and everything you're doing. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the flowers. You became a little bit German. What is that? What did you mean with that?
No, I just meant by the time and about. Yeah, I'm always on time now. I don't like it to be late or. Like it, I take it really serious. I was taking a lot before also because, yeah, my mom and people in Brazil, they can be a little bit loose when it's not about serious appointment and stuff. It was just a joke that I become really sharp German now after 2 years.
Yeah, but those 2 years actually came to an end, and you moved over to Romania back again. How was your start in Romania? How were the first months of you living in Romania?
Really good, actually. It's I was used to live in a small city in Vitigheim, and coming to Bucharest is a really big city with a lot of things happening at the same time. So it's actually, I think it was a good, important change for me in my life. I think I needed this in this part, but also in handball, I am very happy with the team and how the things are going here and everything. And of course, we had a really good team and environment in Vitigheim. But I'm very happy with the beginning here. The girls are super nice, and I really like the team and the things around. So far, so good.
Yeah, and I mean, your new employer, CSM Bucuresti, they did start into the season with quite some ambitions, I would say, but we will get back to that topic a little later. Actually, when was the first touching point of you with CSM? So when did you first hear about their interest in you?
Yeah, it was, I think, September, October last season. We play against each other, and some weeks later, I got the contact with my managers, and we were talking about the next season and the plans and the interests. And of course, I always look up to CSM. I think they have a really good club and really good players. And then, of course, it was interesting, and I had some time to think. And for me to make the decision was, it was. I just feel that I need to make the step. So then, when they come to ask me, I start to look more, a little bit like, and think like, look to the games and to the players and what I want for my life and stuff. But it was, I think, September, October, if I'm not wrong, but I think was this.
And at first, did you need to think long when CSM asked you whether you want to join?
A little bit, because I was very comfortable whenever I was very happy in Bietigheim, being honest. So we had a really good team, and I felt really like home there. So at the beginning, I said to CSM, like, yeah, I just need to figure out some things like with myself and how I want to, what I want from my life and everything. But after things start to make more sense inside of me, and then I was ready to take the decision. But in the beginning, of course, I was really, really happy in Bietigheim and feeling good. And one of the keys for me to perform is to feel good, and I was really feeling good there. So it was, in the beginning, it was not so clear, yes. But after some time, the things start to click inside of me.
What were the last words that you actually lost to your former teammates?
Actually, it was the last time I saw them. It was in Budapest, in the final of Champions League. So we didn't have so much. We were just, first of all, so tired, everyone, because we played this crazy weekend and like a dream for everyone. So we were full of emotions and exhausted and everything. And then we had the party together, everyone. But they know, like, I have been saying since I signed with CSM, or like from the last months, they know so much how much they meant to me and how much it was. How much the team makes me a better human and a better goalkeeper. So I was often saying, like, putting some things to them. We didn't have like a big goodbye that I had to say things because I would be crying a lot. But I had a lot of small stuff during the season.
The right answer would also be to your former teammates to just say, see you next year in Budapest with your new team and the former team. That would be nice. But the last season we had a lot of also great guests. And first of all, also thank you for joining, Gabi. I also want to get more to know about you as a person, because we speak about the teams and the ambitions for the teams, and it's no secret that I 2 times actually been in Brazil before, in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is not super far, if I understand correctly, from where you're born and where you grew up. So can you tell me a little bit, how is it growing up in Brazil, and is it Maringa, if I pronounce it correctly, where you grew up as well?
Maringá. It was good. It was close. It was good. Yeah, it's close to São Paulo, but we say in Brazil it's like 1 hour flight. This is very close for us, but I know in Europe it's quite far.
For Martin, that would be 3 times throughout the country.
Exactly. So yeah, I was living in Brazil in my hometown until I was like 16, and then I moved to São Paulo. Start playing. It was my first professional club, because in my hometown we had a really good base, but it could not go further. And then for this I want to be national team and everything, I needed to move to São Paulo. But growing up in Brazil, I think it can be it's very tricky, like, to answer this question, because it's a totally different world what we live here in Europe, And when I see things now, how it is, and our culture, everything, like, it's so different. Then when I first get to Europe, I was just like, okay, I don't know how to live. This is such a new everything for me. When I get to Norway, the training and stuff, I was like, I didn't know handball until now.
Sure.
But it's very nice. I think it makes me like also to not take anything for granted. Like I really appreciate everything that I'm living right now, because things were not so easy back then. Like I had to go a lot of steps to be here. So I really appreciate it.
And I mean, also growing up and wanting to be a handball player in Brazil without being disrespectful is probably not the biggest sport. There's something also called football as well. So who influenced you, and how come did you want to become a handball player?
Actually, I have my mom's brother. He was in national team. He was a left back. He was actually good.
Okay.
And so we had this handball in the family, like, but I just heard stories, and then his daughter started to play handball. And one day by mistake, it's my cousin, by mistake, I was just walking and walking her to the training. And then the coach saw me and he was like, have you ever heard about handball? I was like, yeah, actually. And he said, no, you come to our team. And then that was of course, I heard in school and like about from my family, but my first real contact was like this. It was an accident. I think I said it was a happy accident. I'm happy that this coincidence happened, and he just saw me. And after this, I never stopped handball anymore.
Would you also start as a goalkeeper? Because now you said it kind of a mistake and him asking you, did you start? Or is it always with goalkeepers, they start as playmakers or left back and then they end up in goal?
No, I actually, in school, I was a pivot. I was line player, but I don't think I was so talented. I don't think it was my thing. So they just say like... the coach looked at me and he said, it was also the goalkeeper coach there, and he said, okay, give you a try, one training in the goal. If you don't like, you can go to the pivot. And I was like, no, I'm not going to pivot. People touch me all the time, and I'm not for this. So I stay in the goal. And I've always, after this contact with him, I stay always in the goal.
I need my 6 meter safe space just around me so that nobody can touch me.
No one touch me here.
But yeah, then actually coming over from Brazil, why exactly did you choose Norway as your first destination? Having a warm and nice Brazil around the corner, going to cold and rainy Norway.
Yeah, I asked myself also, but I'm so glad I did this, because it was, I think, the best thing that ever happened to me, like to get really in this culture, like shock, and to learn from the beginning of my experience in Europe, like how in order to be a top athlete, what it takes, So I had the contact. I played the World Championship for the youth, and one coach saw me, one manager saw me from Norway, and then he said that there was a club in Norway needed a goalkeeper, and I actually had the offer from this club in Norway or in Denmark, so I could just choose from these Scandinavian places, and I decided to go to Norway, and I'm very happy that I did this. It was really hard because, it's Norway, it's dark, and it's so different than what I used to. And my English was not the best, and everything. It was really different, but I am very happy that I did this. It was a big shock, and after it was easier, I think it was a good move.
Especially because there were many more stations to come than Romania, France, Germany, now Romania again. I'm wondering, do you always take like a little bit of the culture with you when you move into a new place, so that you basically develop as a person in those countries as well?
Yeah, I think so. I am kind of person who I really think I appreciate to discover new things in life, and I really like to see sometimes that my way is not always the best way, and I think being open how the other people see life and how they behave and everything is so important to grow up as a person. So I always try to take a little bit like I really like how they do these kind of things, or I really don't like how they do these kind of things. So I I try to build myself, and I think I changed a lot during this during these years, and I took for sure a little bit of everything from where I play. Like in France, I was actually also really happy there. That was a little bit the same as Brazil, the culture. So I was really happy there, but I also get some way of living that I think is really nice, and way of thinking. And I think this is really important for to grow up, to know that there is more than only your own thing, life.
I mean, we all know that the experience also helps players grow, and also, you can take something with you from the culture in France, and then they have a different way of doing it in Germany, Romania, and also Scandinavia and Norway sometimes. But I mean, you've been in some different countries, and me having in mind your way of playing handball and the way that you are a goalkeeper, you are quite tall also. Did you ever have someone that you looked up to, or did any goalkeeper inspire you when you were younger?
Yeah, it's I always say it's hard because I am very tall, and not you can see not so many tall goalkeepers nowadays. It's also when I grow up, I could not see. I remember there was a field, but the one that I look up the most, and she will probably make fun of me again because I always say her name. It's Babi. She is. I always when I was young, when I was young, she was a really really big mirror for me, and she still is. We are really good friends. And then I say to her that after I get to know her, I admire her even more. So when I was a kid, I was actually watching her and really getting inspired by her. And every time I say this, she don't believe me. So, but I keep saying it. One day she will believe. So I don't know.
But I mean, from the couple of times we also met Barbara Arnhardt, it's also that not only she's a great goalkeeper and has some history also, but as a person, she's also very hard not to like, and very likable, I would say, from the times that we met her. And but if I'm allowed to, also moving on now to that you moved to CSM and Romania again, and going back. And now a new club, I would say maybe, and not maybe, it's a step up in the right direction compared to when you were there last time. How do you actually yourself see the Romanian league? Because I can say from Scandinavia, it's not that often that you have something to do with the Romanian league. I know CSM is there, I know Valea is there, Rapid Bucuresti, Baia Mare, and all these great teams. I mean, there are a lot of good teams, but if you don't follow the Romanian league, you don't know that much about it.
Yeah, that's actually true. I have a lot of Brazilians and friends playing here, and they always say it's a really strong league and everything, but I was not watching that much because we focus so much in the Champions League and everything. But now being here and knowing really every club that we play, there's some girls from national teams and from different nationalities and everything. It's really equal, and they have really strong teams. And this is for me, of course, a step up comparing to coming to Germany. I think the league here is stronger, as everyone knows. So actually, I'm actually getting surprised to see some girls. I'm like, this girl is playing here. Oh my god! They have all the time some good players and international players and experienced players, and every team can beat. I feel that everyone can beat everyone somehow. So it's a really interesting league to play.
For me, yeah, for sure. Because for me, it's actually better or stronger than what you normally would think of if you compare it also on the men's side. Then you have Dynamo Bucuresti, and people it's hard for them to watch the Romanian league because where to watch it? It's not being broadcast out in Europe. But CSM also have a great history, and having in mind what you achieved last year with Bietigheim, then what are the dreams and hopes about going to CSM? Because they've been there also in Budapest before and in the Final Four EHF. So I guess it's also one of the big dreams from you. I've been reading also.
Of course, totally. My biggest dream is to win the Champions League, and one of the reasons that I decided to come here. It's also to be part of the the Final Four once more, because I had the dream that I want to be in Budapest before, but once I got there, I say this is even worse, because now I want to come here every year, so I need to manage somehow to it's jokes aside, it's a really nice experience, and I really hope that we can do this again. Like, I think CSM, they have amazing players and the coaches and everything around the club. It's I think there's big chance that we will be there. So this was one of my motivations also to come here, to be among these players and this new environment and way of playing. And I know I have big hopes that we can be there in Budapest, of course.
Yeah, without spoiling too much, there is someone in this podcast that has, CSM on the top at the end of the season. But you'll need to hear the episode to find out who that will be. But yeah, the Champions League season. Yeah, it's good. The Champions League season actually already is kicked off. You guys started with a tough matchup against another Romanian side, against Gloria, and it was actually the first loss of CSM Bucuresti this season. Were Gloria a little stronger than many people expected?
I think they are strong, and we expect them to be strong, of course, because we played the first match of the season, like second match of the season was the Super Cup. And we beat them by 1. It was a tough match, so we knew that it's going to be hard, of course. And when they play at home, they're really strong. The public there is really good. Like, they sing all the time. They put a lot of energy on to the players, I think. And unfortunately, we could not beat them. They were better than us in many ways, I think, in this game. But I think they are just good together, like they have been playing the European League and the Romanian League for so long, so they have a really good connection and put now new players. So yeah, we knew that we were going to be a bit tough. We actually played yesterday against them again in the league, and this time we won. So it's really it's a very balanced, but it's a really good team.
And I mean, for you personally, it was the first match in the Champions League ever since that glorious and miraculous run that you guys had with Bietigheim or Ludwigsburg last year. How was it for you to step back onto the biggest stage of club handball?
Yeah, I actually said this to Inger Smits, now my teammate here in CSM also. I said to her, we were in the locker room, and I said, the last game at Champions League, it was the Champions League final, huh? And she was like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's really crazy, but for me, I have it so clear in my mind that everything that happened last season, I cannot take so much for this season, because it's a different thing, and I cannot live from this forever. But these moments that we live with Bietigheim and the game, the spirit, that everything that we got, it's on me still, this feeling and this ambitious and this everything is still on me in a way, that I really want to be a better player every day, just to feel this again, So I often say that we need to have a purpose to go for trainings and games and everything, and this is when I think is my biggest one, is my biggest motivation, because I want to be part of this again. I want to be good and help my team as much as I can to reach this.
Yeah, especially after everything that you experienced this summer. I'll try not to forget anything, but that finish of that miraculous season that you guys had with Bietigheim, your upcoming transfer to Bucuresti, moving back to Romania, coming with that, then going to the Olympics. Can you even sum up your summer, or is it just a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you will never really understand what happened?
No, to be honest, I still don't get everything, I still don't have the feeling so much to understand what happened, and sometimes I stop. We had now a national team break. We had sometimes, some days, and I was just quiet, and for the first time thinking okay, what's happening now? You're living in Romania, this Olympic bomb just happened. This is also an unbelievable experience, and this is the greatest thing I ever experienced in my life. So until now, I'm a little bit lost, actually, to be honest with you guys. I still quite don't understand, and together with like full of like happiness and confidence that this everything gave me, I'm a little bit trying to understand and put myself together to be the best version of myself. But sometimes it's hard because the mind is not so connected to the body. That's what just happened, you know.
I was about to also ask you, and going back to the national team also, because, but you kind of just said it, Gabi, because I was to ask about playing against Spain, conceding only 18 goals, and, you know, playing the Olympics for the first time, as I also read, is, your biggest dream and a dream coming true, playing that. And I mean, also a big win against Spain. And after that, your social media exploded, and I think you became the female player with the most female handball player with the most followers. And you know, to describe all those feelings, it's crazy because, to be honest, I was also with beach handball at the Olympics, and I was also in the Olympic city, and for me it's very big. Can you just in some way again maybe explain how was it just walking around at Olympic city, seeing people maybe not knowing, but probably they're a superstar in their own city and their own sports, but you don't know their names and who they are, and walking around there.
Crazy. It's really crazy. And I just heard and I saw so many things because, of course, it was my dream so much. I was thinking and dreaming about this moment that you step in the villa and you see everything. But it's beyond, like it's something that it's bigger than I ever imagined, you know. It's just like you're walking and you're eating next to, I don't know, like Alcaraz or whatever, the big people, and they just like fit people, and everyone is so professional, and you see like this is crazy. And I was just so proud to be there because I also struggle a lot to get to this Olympics, and so I was really happy, and it's unbelievable. I regret a little bit that I didn't enjoy so much the village, because actually I didn't have so much time, but because I was there to play handball, you know. But I could go maybe a little bit more, but I was just 100% focused on handball. And I promised myself that the next one, if I'll be there, that I'll do everything to be there. I would try to be a little bit more like tourist and see things around, because this time I was just like, I need to play handball and that's it.
I mean, it's crazy. Even the food market or the area when you come in, then you had vegetarians, Asian food market, and then like the place itself, just the food market was unbelievable big, like so crazy. So
yeah, sorry to interrupt your little talk between the two Olympians that you guys are, but actually talking about you and the national team, what are some midterm goals that you guys have with the Brazilian national team?
We now have, in December, we're going to have a championship in Rio de Janeiro. Really bad place. And we have this South, is a qualification for the World Championship. So this is what we have now. Of course, we have training. We have a training camp now in Romania. It's going to be. And then we go to Brazil. And I'm actually really happy to be close to the Brazilian people. And it's always really nice to play there. So I'm happy that we get a chance to go there. And then now we are changing new players. Like some players stopped. You could see that Babi stopped her international career. And some of the girls, we still don't know if they keep or if they stop, how it's going to be. So the plan is to have some new players into the team and get going into the new Olympic cycle.
Cool. Then I would say, Martin, my questioning sheet is empty. How about you?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say once again, thank you, Gabi, for joining us. And if I will also give you some credits and saying that if people didn't know that who you were as a goalkeeper last season, you know, playing the Champions League final and also doing great things with the national team, I think you also marked yourself as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll see each other at bigger events in the future.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thank you for what you're making for handball. This is really nice, and thank you. I will be there. I will do everything.
Well, I mean, just for comparison, last season we had as a kickoff guest in this podcast Nikola Karabatic, and now you are kicking off our podcast this year. So basically, you're Nikola's successor, if you want to put it like that.
Things are getting serious. Oh my God.
Like
It's
that,
a
it
big
is.
honor.
It is,
Thank
and
you
it was
so much, guys.
it was a big honor
Thank you,
to
Gab.
have you in the podcast here as well. So thanks a lot, and best of luck for your seasons. May all
Thank
your
you.
hopes and dreams come true this year.
I also hope so much, and also a lot of success for you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you, Gabi. Good luck.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome talks, super humble, super nice, and super down to earth. Gabriela Moreschi is a great talking partner and an upcoming Champions League winner? Question mark.
I predicted CSM Bucuresti to win the last edition of the Champions League Women. I think it's a big addition to the team. I think now she's the most feared goalkeeper probably for the opponents. It's the goalkeeper that, you know, when you play against her, you feel her presence in the goal. But yeah, I think it's a lot of changes this season with CSM, also change of coach, and I think they will make it to the Final Four, but it's going to be a little short for them to win it.
Martin?
Yeah, I think they will make it to the Final Four as well. And not only, you know, Moreschi is coming in, they also have Inger Smits will come in, and the Danish left wing Emma Friis, who I also think is an amazing left wing. So in general, they brought in a lot of players, but it's also about, you know, getting them to play together and getting it to work on a short notice. And I mean, they have the quality to do so, but yeah, I think they will be there.
Yeah, and I mean, on the other hand, it is the last dance of one of the greatest of all time, Christina Neagu. She actually, announced that this will be her last season on the biggest stage. And what better way is there to step off the big stage other than with a Champions League medal? And we've seen it last year. We've seen it with Stine Oftedal, that she did end her career on a perfect high.
But that end of the career is unmatchable because she won the Champions League and she won the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what she deserves, of course, but it's unmatchable.
It most definitely is unmatchable, and we don't need to talk about that one, but we do need to talk about everybody giving everything and even more for this Champions League title. That is what Moreschi actually told us after the interview that you guys just heard as well. But then on the other hand, you have a new star in the back with Alina Greisels. You have Emma Friis, who actually has proven already on the biggest stage that she can perform. And I do expect a lot of goals from Emma Friis this year. And I do expect that we are going to see CSM reigning at the end. Because I don't just have them go into Cologne. I have them winning the Champions League here as well. And that's where you guys can give me your predictions for the Champions League winner this season as well.
I think Esbjerg just deserve it. I think they deserve it because they've been there for so long now, and it's like a little bit, it's starting to be quite similar, like Vesprem maybe, in the men's side. So I think Esbjerg deserve it, but I think Gjør is going to win it again.
Yeah, and I mean, Esbjerg, to stay at that topic for like a little bit, there have been a coach change as well. So Jesper Jensen, he said goodbye after a long 7 years at Esbjerg, after the three-peat, I think it was, in Budapest, where they actually finally won a match. It was just the bronze medal matchup, but they started to know how to win games in Budapest, actually. And the biggest thing is that they held the squad together. So they didn't have some major departures. Right now, we are seeing a little break by Nora Mørk. And Esbjerg is saying, well, she should come back in full health and in full strength to help us through the biggest the biggest games of the season. But this is where I have the feeling that Esbjerg's squad might not be deep enough to cover or to back up their most important players. Martin, what do you think?
Well, it's always tough to cover up for Nora Mørk or Henny Reistad, but I think Mette Tranborg on the right back is it's a pretty good, I would say, second choice for Nora Mørk, and I think Michaela Møller has developed her game. They have Delia, who's also her twin sister play in Odense. I think they are really good as well. I think they have the depth within the squad, and I just want to say that they brought Line Haugsted back from Gjør, and I think that will strengthen their defense. And she's also, her shoulder is getting better and better, and I think from the games I've been watching in the Danish league, also she's been shooting more, and also from the defense to the offense, the counter-attack periods, she also shoots more than she normally do, but Esbjerg will be at the Final Four, and I didn't predict any, but I was about to say Gjør as well, and I predicted Esbjerg last year, so I want to predict them again, but the most reasonable for me will be Gjør. And also the fact that we are playing, I know maybe it's unfair to say, but the fact that we're playing in Budapest and in Hungary is always in the benefit of Gjør in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Gjør
But
did... Yeah,
this season, Gjør is not going to be the home team in the Final Four.
Oh, FTC is going to come yet again? Or what's your prediction?
I think so.
Yeah, the FTC is definitely looking strong at the start of the season, that is for sure. But the one thing that I still wanted to say with Gjør is that they had an interesting summer, to say the least, there as well, because they did need to replace some players such as Anna Groß, such as Stine Oftedal, or Haugsted, who actually left. But I think they did a great job in compensating these names, just to say some. But you have Christine Breistol, you have Christina Jørgensen, you have Kelly Dalfer coming in. So I do think that Gjør yet again has the most balanced squad in the entire Champions League.
Jone Hausner also on the right back position from the Netherlands is great. You have Sacco in goal also. She didn't have her best Final Four. But I mean, in general, throughout the season for Metz, she was unbelievable. So Sacco and Toft in goal is also pretty strong. I mean, it's what we expect from Gjør. Is what I said about the Barcelona team. Whenever I look throughout the squad, there's a lot of names to say who the key players are, and they still have Veronica Christiansen, Di Paula, Minko, and just an unbelievable squad. But Víctor is interesting what he said with FTC, because I think one of their positions that they brought in is Laura Glosser in goal. Also is an important player for FTC also for me to take another step, and Dimitrieva also.
Yeah, I agree with you. This Laura Glauser movement, it's very good movement in my opinion for FTC, and it's going to give them more confidence, and they will be more solid in their game, in my opinion. So I think, I don't know, it's the feeling I have now with them. I think they will make it to the Final Four in Budapest.
Yeah, why not? And why not another miraculous run like they had in 2023 with Belk scoring that banger just 2 seconds prior to the end. Bringing them to the final. Martin, there was one name that you actually already wrote down before we had a talk about which teams we want to have a closer look at. In this little prediction round. What is it that makes Brest so special and so dangerous this year?
Well, I think, first of all, they brought in Vakieva, which is, for me, an unbelievable addition to the game. And to not speak too much about the circumstances why she ended up in Brest, she's still there. And we've seen earlier what she can do. And I think also, in general, just that Brest as a team is improving a lot with Katharina Filter in goal. They have Foppa, Canor, a lot of great players from France, and the way that they started the season, it's been looking really good. Last game, I think they won with 1 goal against Esbjerg. And didn't they also make it to the quarterfinal last year, if I remember correctly, or somewhere? They made it to the knockout stage at least. And with Vakieva adding to the team, I think that will always, everyone will say that will make them look stronger than they were last year.
Anna Biahireva, it's arguably the best player in the world, but she is also a player that needs to have the ball a lot of time in her hands to give the best out of her to the team. So this is also a little bit difficult to adapt as a team, to be able to take the maximum out of Biahireva, but still take the maximum of the whole team.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it's gonna take a little time for Tim and Biahireva match each other, but I think it's a really good team. But in my opinion, they will not make it to the Final Four.
Oh, that is interesting. That's where we could kick off our Final Four predictions here, because, I'm just going to start it off right here. I do see Brest making it. Of course, Gjør is going to make it, so there won't be another episode of the EHF Final Four without Gjør in it. Then I have Esbjerg and CSM. So I would consider my takes as the boring takes.
Well, for me, it's quite similar, but I would go with Gjør, with FTC, CSM, and Esbjerg.
Interesting, Bengt, that you also went with Brest, because now I have the opportunity to choose between one of you, but you probably cannot see it from the camera. But I've written down Gjør, CSM, Esbjerg, and Brest.
Taken.
So,
but
FTC is. I agree with FTC. But I would hate it if FTC make it instead of Brest, because then Víctor is right. Then I would rather have FTC making it instead of one of the other teams.
Yeah, fair enough. But we'll see how that one will go. That depends on how the group stage is developing as well. Then your MVP will be?
Moreschi,
all right.
I'm going to do what I call a Víctor now. I'm going to then go with the Cinderella story from last year, and I'm going to say one from the not winning team. And you kind of said it earlier, Bengt, so I will say Niago.
Yeah, Christina Niago is my MVP here as well, but from the winning team, obviously. And top scorer for you guys is?
Emma Fries.
Oh, Emma Fries, I like that call a lot. I like that call actually a lot, because I do see her scoring a lot of goals as well. Martin, you're going with Henny Reistad?
Yes. Well, for me, it's pretty simple. The best player in the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's the best player in the world, and if she will shoot the penalties instead of Nora Mark, we also already seen what she's been doing in the Champions League. Was it 14 goals or something like that she scored in one of the matches? I mean, yeah.
I agree with Henny Reistad. I do think that she is going to become top scorer with 127 goals. But she's going to lose the final. So the final is going to be
I'm a little bit
Esbjerg
worried that you are
CSM.
agreeing with me, Bengt, because as you said with Kelsey last year and your predictions, then I don't know if my predictions are good or bad.
No, they're perfect. They are absolutely great and perfect. Absolutely. No, it will be a great season, and it is the last dance of Christina Niago. Interesting to see and interesting to hear. I'm excited to see what's going to happen this year.
It's going to be exciting. This competition, both in men and women, it's really exciting. We see the best handball in the world, best players in the world. Always some surprises are coming up, which is nice, I think. And I'm really looking forward to see both competitions and to see how everything is developing this
100%. And great to kick it off here on this spin. We talk handball, and that's where we would say at first we need to announce here that we changed the rhythm of the podcast. It is going to be a bi-weekly podcast from now on. So the next time will be in 2 weeks when it's time to talk handball again, everybody.
Ball across the Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Into the net.
She does it again.
And Magdeburg are the champions.